The problem I have with some people that read ancient texts is the majority of them read it at the surface level. They don't read between the lines. They don't read with an open mind. They read surface level. And when you read surface level, your mentality is then surface level. Surface level reading equals surface level mentality. So you're comprehending at a very basic surface level mentality, and you're missing something that could probably have a very different meaning, and you might be teaching others something that's not even close to being the actual meaning if you're reading something at a surface level and actually teaching it. Take pastors, for example, when they're reading the ancient texts of the Bible and they're reading it at surface level. One example being when Peter curses and denies Christ because he wants to distance himself and not let people think that he's one of the disciples so he doesn't get arrested or beaten because he is afraid. There was this podcast that trying to tell people that it's wrong to curse.
For here can mean something in a different language, right? It's your intent on how you're using it.
Can I tell you one story? So I was reading, you know the moment where Peter denies Jesus 3 times. People come up to him, do you know Jesus? You were just with him. I saw you with him. You're a Jew, like you have to be with him. And he says 3 times, no, I don't know him. No, I don't know him. The 3rd time, it says that Peter curses and says, I do not know this man. So in the moment where he was trying to separate himself from Jesus and no longer identify as a follower of Jesus, he cursed.
I make a vow that today's the last day, I swear. Yeah, you guys challenge me.
I have chill bumps.
That's surface level reading. But when you actually read the original translation, the Greek translation, that's not what he did. He didn't curse like you and I curse. So she took that verse and applied it to our basic knowledge, which is minuscule and ignorant. That's not what Peter did. He didn't say, oh fuck, no, I'm not one of them. See, I said the F word. I'm clearly not a disciple because I said fuck. I'm a bad guy. That's not what Peter did. Read your Bible accurately. The original Greek says to call down a curse, often on oneself or as a forceful way to deny something, to swear an oath. So this suggested that Peter was not necessarily using profanity as we know it, but rather calling down a curse upon himself, like saying, may I be cursed if I know such a man. That's what it was a translation of. But in our lame-o terms, that's what our simple translation applied it to. Peter cursed. Swearing an oath is another way of translating it, which was a strong way to emphasize his denial of knowing Christ. The Codex, the 4th century, contained the same Greek wording, emphasizing this meaning. More accurate translations. He began to invoke a curse on himself and to swear, I do not know this man to whom you speak. The ESV gave the most accurate translation of what the original Codex was saying. ESV is probably the most accurate translation of the original Codex. So, conclusion, the earliest Greek manuscripts confirm that Peter was not just denying Jesus, but doing so forcefully, possibly invoking a curse upon himself to stress the point that he did not know him. Not an actual potty mouth curse word, okay? He was making an oath. He was calling down divine punishment to emphasize his denial. But when you read something at such a surface level mindset, and you want to teach others and condemn others in such a way, see, this is why you should stop cursing. Because Peter cursed. That was his way to separate himself from Christ. He had to say a curse word. Don't you feel bad now for every time you curse? Because Peter said a potty word, and that was his way to separate himself from Jesus. And in this podcast, guy was like, yeah, I vow never to curse again now, because you just convicted me for that. I feel so bad. It's just surface level ignorance. This is why. Don't ever just take what you hear and consume it as fact. Don't just take what you hear on TV or watch or whatever. Always do your research. Always. Especially for religious ancient texts. Don't ever read anything like that surface level. There's so much more to it when it's been translated to our lame-o terms.
Yeah, you guys challenge
I
me.
have chill bumps.